Hello, Revere, and welcome to the May month of the Revere Senior News. Today I have a special guest. Her name is Liz Yanishevsky from Generations Inc. But before we introduce her, I would like to introduce my co-host.
Steve Fielding. I'm the director at the Revere Rossetti Cowan Senior Center, and we want to welcome you to May because now that we're in the spring, we hopefully will have nice weather and we'll have some flowers blooming. Just want to recognize two special holidays this May, and both of them are very important. One, we want to remember our mothers and make sure that we salute our mothers during Memorial Day month. Mother's Day this year is May 12th on a Sunday, and at the Senior Center we're going to have a little celebration for mothers on May 13th, which is a Monday. So we have a little special cake lined up, and maybe we'll have a couple of surprises. So I want to let seniors know we will not forget mothers, even though Mother's Day is on a Sunday. Also, we will have a Memorial Day luncheon in honor of our veterans, and those both with us and those who are deceased. And we have a very special musical entertainment that day, which will take place on May 30th. And we have the Powers School of Music. And if you have been to the Senior Center before, like Morris, or if you ever wanted to come, the Powers School of Music is a specialized music school in Belmont. And every year they come to the Senior Center. For this particular occasion, it's going to be a patriotic theme. And they're going to send several instructors who play brass instruments. So it's going to be very uplifting and very patriotic, which is what we need, right, Morris?
You bet.
Especially in this day and age. A couple of quick announcements. One is a save the date, and I know it's a June date, but I think it's very important to save this date. It's the Rossetti Cowan Senior Center Annual Health Awareness Day, and that's going to take place on Tuesday, June 25th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. right in our dining hall. And we have a lot of vendors, healthcare professionals, we have the city nurse, we have some health and exercise people, we have home health care agencies, just a number of people who will be able to talk to you. And we've done this over the last 5 years, and it's been very successful. One other thing, at the Senior Center, I am looking for a senior to volunteer about an hour and a half each month. You have to have a car. This is the Revere Senior Power newsletter. It's totally for seniors. And I really need some help on delivering these every month, at the end of every month. And it's only in Revere. You probably go to about 25 to 30 retail spots in the city, including City Hall and the library. And we drop them off. That way seniors have access to them. And we keep some at the Senior Center as well. And we can also email them to you. But I need somebody just once a month. I'll compensate you somehow, whether it be through gas money or giving you one of those beautiful luncheons that we have every day. So I could use some help. So
They can contact you, email you.
they can contact me.
By telephone number.
I was just going to give it. 781-286-8156 is the Senior Center phone number. And if you want to contact me online through email, it's sfielding@revere.org. Right. Okay? So let me just update you on a couple of things coming up in May, and then we can talk to Liz and really talk about Generations Inc. Right. We do have a computer class that's available for people. We're looking for anywhere from 2 to 5 people to take our 5-week course. So if you're out there and you want to learn basic computer skills, please contact the Senior Center at the same number that I just provided. We have a great senior book club. We have a relationship with the Revere Public Library. They bring the books down. The group decides which book they want to read. They read it, and the next month they come back and they discuss it. And it's a great book. It's led by Revere librarian Janice Van Hoekelum, and it's the third Thursday of every month at the Senior Center from 2:30 to 3:30. And you don't have to call up, you just have to show up. We have blood pressure and consultation with our nurse, Carol Donovan, and she's at the Senior Center on May 2nd and May 16th, approximately 11 to 12 a.m., 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., I should say, for blood pressure and individual consultation. Mary Marino and the monthly hearing program is at the Senior Center. She's there on May 30th, the same day as our luncheon, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. She'll check your batteries, she'll check your hearing aids, she'll make recommendations, she'll also test your hearing. So you should call up to make an appointment with that at the same number that I gave. We have a great lady named Barbara McDonald, and what she does is she provides a chair massage for seniors so they can get that, achiness and creaks out. And she's at the Rossetti Cowan Senior Center on Monday the 13th of May and Tuesday the 14th of May, and she's there in the morning, usually at 9:30. And lastly, I just want to mention Dr. David Kaplan runs a podiatry clinic on the first Monday of every month, and for May, it is being held on Wednesday. Did I say the Monday of every month? I'm sorry, the first Wednesday of every month, excuse me. May 1st, 2019, he'll be there. He gets there about 8:15, and he'll stay as long as everybody is served. And like you asked me in the last show, what does he do? He just cuts toes? He cuts toes, that's basically what he does, but he'll also provide other information or answer questions regarding that kind of care. So he'll be there on May 1st. Now we can get to Liz.
Thank you for all that, but before we get to Liz, the rest of the show will be turned over to her. I just want to spend 1 minute to say to our Vietnam veterans out there, from World War II veteran, thank you all for serving in the service. We were part of the greatest generation, and so are you, Vietnam. And thank you again for serving our country. May God bless all the veterans, but especially the Vietnam veterans. Now, Liz, the show is all yours. Give us a little history and tell us what Generations Inc. is exactly all about.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve and Morris, for having me here today. Generations Incorporated, this is our 12th year as a partner of the Revere Public Schools. And we are really trying to make a dent in lack of reading proficiency for elementary school students. And the latest statistics we have in Revere, a little over 50% of the students exiting 3rd grade, entering 4th grade are not proficient in reading, and that can have really significant consequences for them in terms of successful completion of high school and jobs later on and so forth.
Question on that, when you said 3rd and 4th graders, is that because the people, we do have a lot of immigrants that come in here, is because they don't understand English too well?
There's a myriad of factors involved, so I wouldn't say, to identify English speakers or immigrants.
And when you say you want people to help out reading, can you be like, what languages, for example?
So we are trying to improve English reading proficiency for kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, and 3rd grade students. And how we do that is a pretty unique model. We train and recruit older adults primarily, but you don't have to be a certain age, to be a literacy coach in the school. And they either partner with a classroom teacher, kindergarten, 1st, 2nd, or 3rd grade, or they read one-on-one with students in about a 40-minute session. And we provide training initially, about 6 hours of training initially, because we don't need people to be former teachers or to be educators per se. Just if you have a love for children, you enjoy reading yourself, and you really want to commit to coming twice a week to one of the schools where we have a program in Revere and working with students. We are in the Wayland Elementary School, the Beachmont Elementary School, the Garfield School, and the Hill School in Revere.
What kind of a commitment would a senior or somebody who is older have to make in regard to reading to children?
So we ask for at least 5 hours a week, and usually you serve 2 mornings per week, 2.5 hours each of those mornings. Mm-hmm. And we do understand older folks and retired individuals want to have a vacation now and then, so periodic absences, for short-term vacations and so forth is fine. Yep. However, if you do go away for the winter to Florida, for example, or a month at a time, mm-hmm. that wouldn't be a good fit. We're looking really for a commitment of time in the classroom with the teacher and getting to partner with the teacher, and also working one-on-one with students.
So it is one-on-one, it's not a group that...
It's a combination. We have 2 different programs, and in 3 of the Revere schools, it is just classroom-based volunteering. And at the Wayland School, they do both classroom volunteering and one-on-one. And the real difference there is that in the classroom model, you are partnering with the teacher and becoming a part of the classroom's English language arts instruction and really taking your cues from the teacher. Meant to be another bite at the apple for the students, more time for them to practice and really master the skills the teacher is working on with them.
I did have one other question before you ask yours, all right? If a student is in a 3rd grade, say, and he's making very good progress because he initially needed a lot of help, after the 6 weeks, if he or she wanted to continue to advance, if you will, and learn a little bit more, would he be able to do that, or she be able to do that? Would they go to another class if they, or it's just a one-time thing?
For the volunteers and the students are referred by the teacher, and typically they stay for the duration of the school year. So we are in the schools in September. Our program usually ends about the first week of June. And if a student is improving significantly, the teacher may request that she swap out that student from the meeting with the volunteer. We're really looking to see increase in their reading level, and we're typically seeing about a 1.5 grade level increase for students who participate in our program. And I hear great things from the seniors who are our volunteer reading coaches.
Right, now Liz, if I wanted to come to do what you just said, what would have to be my qualifications? Make believe I came in to apply that I want to be one of the instructors for the young kids. You said from kindergarten to 4 years old?
To
4th grade, I mean.
3rd grade, so through the end of 3rd grade.
So you're talking about like 8 years old the most, or 9 years old the top?
Right, usually.
Yeah, usually 8 or 9 years old.
Right.
So
we have a screening process, and it starts by attending either an information session or calling and speaking to a recruitment and training specialist at our office. And we just want to hear what your background is, what experience you have with children. It could be your own children or your grandchildren, or volunteer work that somebody may have done at their church or their temple. We do ask for 2 references, one professional ideally and one personal, and we call references just to ask about reliability, and someone needs to be calm and enjoy working with children. A little bit of willingness to learn how to use an iPad or a laptop, just to very basically just to keep track of the amount of time you worked with a student, because we need that information for grants and to improve our program and so forth. But in terms of knowledge of teaching reading or education, as I mentioned before, you don't need to be a former teacher or educator. We do have 6 hours of pre-service training where we go through what our classroom's like today, some behavior management tips, and we go through what teachers are doing to teach reading. So it's familiar to somebody when they enter the classroom. They've heard some of the terms before. And we give you activities to do to work on skills with students, and each month there's a meeting at your school location with the site team leader at that school, and we do a little professional development for folks too.
That's great. You know why it's great? You're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. First of all, you want to learn a computer, you come to our senior center, you see Steve, and he'll shut you up in a computer class. That's the first step, if you don't know how to use a computer. The second step is they come and help the kids after they're learning. So they're learning something themselves to help someone else, which is great.
Yeah, it is definitely a win-win situation.
So you are the recruitment and training specialist for Generations Inc., and you are in the process of planning a great event and trying to get some older adults to become involved in this program. Why don't you tell us about what's coming up?
Right. So we have collaborated with the Revere Historical Society to host an event that we're calling Revere Public Schools Then and Now. And it will be on Saturday, May 11th, starting at 9:30, ending at 1. And it's really the type of event you don't need to appear, come for the whole day. We're going to give complimentary tours of the Historical Society and showcase the room they have dedicated to school memorabilia. And we're also going to invite other community leaders who are working on initiatives, programming to help children in Revere and students. So people can hear about what the schools were like in the past. We're going to have a speaker talk about how she's seen them evolve over the years. And then we're going to talk about what the current challenges are facing the schools and facing students, and give you a sort of a variety of ways that you can get involved, not just by serving as a literacy coach through Generations Incorporated, but maybe doing some other things that would fit in with your schedule.
So as a follow-up question, I have actually two. One, it is an open house, if you will. They can just come, but if they wanted to contact you and maybe talk a little about this before they came, they can call the number on the screen, right?
Right. The number on the screen, 617-399-4678. That's my direct line at Generations Incorporated. And if anybody has questions, we're inviting people to bring photos they might have or memorabilia from their school days. And we'll have set aside some time during the day to take a look and hear from people if they brought something with them.
Now, I have to ask you this. If these people are coming to teach this kids how to speak good English or read good English, they themselves have to be good in English.
Well, right. You do need a certain level of proficiency in reading yourself. And we do ask that folks have a high school diploma or the equivalent in order to participate.
So one thing you don't want them to do is speak in a Brooklyn accent, right? Since you're from Brooklyn, so you
accents are okay.
He knows I'm kidding him,
No,
that's for sure.
that's not true, because I do come from 33rd Street on First Avenue. I do come from there, and I live in that house near the curb. So he always makes fun of me. And then when I have my birthday,
I love the accent.
see, I got my birthday coming up.
Birthday is good.
Okay.
That's good.
So, you know,
That wouldn't be a problem. We could still have you as a tutor.
Can I teach in Brooklynese?
Sure.
And he has a milestone coming up. He's going to be 90.
Right.
Wow, what a life you've led.
That's great.
73 years ago, I was overseas.
Imagine that.
I was 17 then.
So I think this is a great idea because people will get a chance not only to learn about how to read and be with kids and give them a nice experience, but they'll also get a chance to see the Historical Society's museum and what they offer there. You know, a lot of residents probably haven't been there in a long time, or if at all, so it's a great opportunity.
Right, and you know what else is great about it, Liz? I'll be honest with you, these, like you say, from kindergarten to the 4th grade, when they meet people that were overseas, they could always ask them what it was like in Italy or what it's like in Germany or what it's like in all the other countries that were there, and they would get an outlook all over the world for it. That would be great too. It would be universal.
One of the things I've always advocated at the Senior Center is intergenerational learning and sharing of experiences. And as Morris knows, we've had high school students in the History of Revere class come down, and I've had 40 or 50 come down every year. And we've set up the seniors at different tables, and we'll have each senior sit with maybe 8 or 9 students. And Morris has done this in the past, and he's, besides telling his jokes, he's got a lot to share with them, and he has had the opportunity, like other seniors, to do that. So this is a great concept. I think it's wonderful.
I have to tell you, this is no joke, but it turned into a joke, Liz. It turned into a joke. A year ago, we had kids from the Revere High School come down, and I said to them, can you name the president from Roosevelt on up? And they said, no, we can't. We could name him from Eisenhower somewhere else on up, but not from Roosevelt. I said, I could name all the presidents when I was your age. They said, yeah, but when you was my age, it was only 4.
That's clever.
That's one of the kids told me, so I laugh at that one. But it was great to have them come up there. They told me some of their experience, what it's like growing up now in this new generation, and what it was like in my generation. So you have all the generations gap, and if you're 90 years old, there's almost 5 generations there.
Have a lot to share.
Yeah.
So I know some people who have participated in this program as teachers, if you will, and they've been doing it for years. Is the retention rate pretty good, or is it something that, you know, it's nice to have fresh people come in? occasionally.
Right. It's a mix of both. We have some folks who've been with us in our program for 11 years in Revere and maybe partnered with their specific classroom teacher for close to 10 years, which is beautiful. But we do have throughout the year health issues come up or family obligations. So even well-meaning individuals who really wanted to see the full year through as a volunteer reading coach had to drop out. And so we had a waiting list actually of students at the Wayland School in particular this school year. So we're eager to get people aware of the program in the spring so that we can work with them over the summer, and come August, September, we're hitting the ground running with a new full team of literacy coaches.
I'm sure you're way ahead of the game, Liz, but I'm sure you could come down to our senior center and talk and go to like the Prospect House, the people that are there, and talk to them.
Yep.
All over the city, the Slatter House, the one on
Absolutely.
Dolphin Avenue. And speak to all the seniors. I'm sure you've done that, or you will be
I'm
doing.
trying to get everywhere where seniors congregate, and just to let people know as well, you don't have to be a resident of Revere to participate. We do have folks from Wakefield,
Right.
Medford, Winthrop, surrounding communities.
But you will get
participate.
mostly seniors because the younger ones still work today and they're hot today.
Right.
So you're going to
in
get
terms
people.
of who's available to come during the
Exactly.
school day.
Yep.
Right.
Yes.
And I have told her that she can come down and speak to seniors, and we can
Right.
arrange to do
We'd
that.
love to have
Would
you come
love to
down
have
there.
a joint event with the senior center as well.
Right.
I'm looking at the clock, and I think we're okay. But I just want to ask you one other question. I know we're dealing with young children, and seniors will be reading books to them. Do you work with the public school system to select the books that they would learn how to read from?
Well, there are two different ways we identify the books we're going to use. In the one-on-one coaching program that's at the Wayland School, we have a curriculum that we purchased called the American Reading Company, and that comes with books and skills that are matched up with the books. So we train the volunteers who will work one-on-one. We train them on how to use that curriculum with the students. For volunteers serving in the classroom, we're primarily relying on the library that the classroom teacher has. Often the classroom teacher will provide a book that they would like the volunteer to read with the students.
Right. Now, learning how to read to begin with. Let's say you start kindergarten. Just give us a little basic. Make believe you have a kindergarten kid, first grade, second, third, fourth. Exactly what do they learn in each class?
Well, that could be a topic for a much longer session, but generally, we try to let folks know it starts with oral language, really fine-tuning your ear to the sounds in the English language and being able to pick up on rhyming words, and then recognizing what alphabet letters match up with the sounds in the language. So usually starting with simple consonant, vowel, consonant words like cat and map and
But how do you
sat.
explain to a kid something a word that is pronounced the same but spelled different?
Right, and so those are usually called sight words, things they just have to memorize visually.
I see.
And there are games that we play with them and techniques and strategies for helping kids just learn that SAID is S-A-I-D. It's not phonetical, but they need to memorize it.
Right.
Basically.
Like you say, the number that comes to my mind is like 2. T-W-O,
Right.
T-O, T-O-O.
Right.
And you teach them when to use each one. And it's,
Right, so they have to, just some words are not phonetic and they need to memorize them. So we can play bingo with those words, we can
I
use
see.
flashcards, we can do different activities, games, so that they're constantly being presented with the words they need to know and that they need to memorize really in order to become stronger
Right.
readers.
Well, pronunciation is a totally different thing, too. I mean,
Right.
that can be a challenge, especially with the English language, because there's so many exceptional...
Lots of exceptions to the rules. So first they learn the rules and then they learn the exceptions to the
yeah,
rules.
that's right. That's right.
when I used to have trouble as a kid when I went to school, like the word lean, L-E-A-N or L-E-I-N, that's
There's a few different ways.
they're pronounced the same, but they're used differently.
Yeah,
And these people that come from overseas too, the immigrants that their kids want to learn, they must have a heck of a
it
time.
can be tricky. So that's why we need more help, more people to get
Absolutely.
involved and really allow for more practice.
Which is
for
a
the
good
kids.
segue into giving you the opportunity to recruit.
Absolutely.
So here you go.
So I want to say come down on May 11th, Saturday, 9:30 to 1 at the Revere Historical Society, 108 Beach Street in Revere, and take a tour of the Revere Historical Society building, share any memories you have of your days as a student, and learn about not only Generations Incorporated, but some other really important ways you can help students in the community today.
Great, but I want to throw this at you. Can the parents of those kids come in too at the time that you're there teaching them? Could they also be in the classroom?
That's really a school-based decision, and the
okay.
teacher and the school administrators would chime in on that. But parents can certainly serve as
Because the
volunteers.
parents themselves might learn something too.
Absolutely, and parents can certainly come out and consider serving as a volunteer literacy coach.
Right.
Maybe not in their student's classroom, but maybe in another classroom.
Capacity, right. Okay, we have about 2.5 minutes. You take a minute, you take a minute, I'll take the
Absolutely.
last one.
So by the time this show airs, I just want to say one thing before I wrap up. Thanks to a secured earmark grant from the state that was initiated through Senator Boncory, and in conjunction with the city of Revere, who actually hired the contractors. As you know, Morris, we're having our driveway and
Yep.
parking lot totally renovated. We've had it dug up in the last week of April, and they're going to regrade it, put new gravel, put a brand new topping, asphalt paving, and we're going to have it striped for parking spaces, and it's a much needed project because we had divots, we had holes, we had seniors fall, we had blown
Right.
tires from vans, and primarily it was very unsafe for seniors to get in and out of that van in that driveway. So I'm very thankful to both Senator Boncory as well as the city of Revere and the administration for helping us get that done. Much needed, and it's going to be a fantastic addition to the senior center.
Right, thank you, Steve.
So
Thank you.
that's my wrap up, I guess, for this time.
Okay, so I would like you to come on May 11th, Saturday, to the Revere Historical Society, learn about Generations Incorporated and other opportunities. And if
Revere
you-
Historical Society,
Yes.
located where at?
108 Beach Street in Revere. And if you cannot make it on the 11th, you can also reach out to Generations Incorporated at the number that's on the screen, and we can talk with you about what it entails and whether you could serve as a volunteer for next school year.
That's great, Liz. So I
Thank
wanna
you
say-
so much, Morris.
I want to say thank you for coming. God
Thank
bless you
you.
on your project. God
Thank you
bless
so much.
And
Thank you, Steve.
And I want to say God bless our troops. God bless our great country, the United States of America. But most of all, for the month of May, God bless all our Vietnam veterans. And thank you all for serving. Thank you.